All right, let's dive into an idea that sounds, well, completely backward. What if I told you that doing less, actually doing nothing, could be the secret to building serious wealth? I know, it goes against everything we're ever taught, but stick with me, because the numbers, they really don't lie. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. This one sentence basically calls out our entire hustle culture. It's suggesting that all that grinding, all those long hours, might not be the best way to get ahead financially. So, what is? And this brings us right to what we're calling the do-nothing paradox. It just feels wrong, doesn't it? How on earth can doing nothing possibly beat doing something when it comes to your money? Let's unpack that. Look, from the time we're kids, the message is hammered into us. Work hard, stay busy, hustle, and the rewards will come. We see it everywhere, this idea that financial success is directly tied to constant grinding effort. You've got to be doing something all the time to get ahead. But here's the big twist. What if that very instinct, that urge to work harder, to trade constantly, to react to every single news alert, what if that's the exact thing that's actually stopping your money from growing? So let's just tackle this myth head on. And to do that, let's talk about a character you might recognize in the world of investing, the active genius. You know, the person who's sure their brain power and constant effort can outsmart the entire market. And here you can see two completely different paths. Over on the left, you've got the active genius, constantly trading, stressing over every headline. Then on the right, there's the disciplined investor. They automate things and just stay calm. It's a choice between frantic activity and quiet consistency. And honestly, staying calm when the market's crashing, that's probably the hardest work of all. So if all that frantic activity isn't the secret sauce, then what is? Well, the real secret, the engine that's quietly doing all the work for you in the background, is a little force called compounding. It's the most powerful tool in your toolbox, and it works best when you just leave it the heck alone. So what is compounding? Simply put, it's your money making money. Your investment earns a return, and then that return starts earning its own return. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. It's not about you hustling, it's about letting your money hustle for you, silently, while you're sleeping. You know, a lot of this thinking comes from Morgan Housel's fantastic book, The Psychology of Money. He makes this brilliant point that we always underestimate what small, consistent gains can turn into when you just give them enough time. It's not about hitting home runs, it's about staying in the game for decades. Now, this all sounds great in theory, right? But let's actually look at the proof, because the evidence for this do-nothing approach is pretty staggering when you see it in action. Just take a look at Warren Buffett. Yeah, the guy's a genius, no doubt. But his real superpower? It's time. The huge majority of his wealth didn't come in his 30s or 40s. It absolutely exploded later in his life, all because he stayed invested for over 70 years. He just let that compounding engine run and run and run. Okay, so that's a billionaire. What about the rest of us? What does this doing nothing thing actually look like for a regular person, an average investor in India? Well, it's actually way, way simpler than you think. Here it is, a simple, almost boring plan. Step 1, you start a systematic investment plan, a SIP, for just 5,000 rupees a month when you're 25. Step 2, you stay disciplined for 35 years. Step 3 is where the magic happens. We'll assume a 12% average annual return. And of course, that's just an average. Markets go up and down. But step 4, this is the most important part. You do nothing else. No panic selling when things look scary, no trying to get fancy. You just let it run. So, what's the result? By age 60, that simple, automated, do-nothing plan could grow to over 3.5 crores. Think about that. The only work you did was the initial setup and then the discipline to not mess with it. That is the magic of letting time do the heavy lifting for you. So let's put this all together into a new blueprint for building wealth. It really all comes down to a major shift in how you think, moving away from constant action and towards patience. So here's the key takeaway. Your goal is not to perfectly time the market. That's a game pretty much everyone loses. The goal is to maximize your time in the market. At the end of the day, your most powerful tool isn't some complex spreadsheet, it's your own patience, especially when every fiber of your being is screaming at you to sell during a downturn. So really, your main job as an investor is to be a good architect. You design a simple, disciplined system, like a monthly SIP. You automate it, and then you get out of the way. You let the system and time do the real work for you. And that kind of leaves us with one final question to chew on. We always think our intelligence, our brain, is our greatest asset. But when it comes to building wealth over the long haul, what if the real secret to getting rich is something much simpler and much quieter? Just your own patience?